Yeah, I was talking to Pescott training yesterday, and we said if I can get through the game without, physios coming on and my head cracking open, then that would be a success.
Welcome back to the podcast. Friend of the podcast, friend of Blue Monday, as sponsored by Lucy O'Brien. And I need to preface this by saying, Lucy, Ipswich Town, ITFC Women's lead assist maker, second top goal scorer. And I always have to go number 11, Lucy O'Brien now, as I announce it at Felixstowe. So number 11, Lucy O'Brien. How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm very well, thank you. I didn't actually know that I was the lead assist maker, so that's a nice way to start the day.
Yeah, it's you and Sean are kind of having a bit of a battle there, and Kyra's not too far behind. So yeah, a great season for you. Any plans on Sunday, by the way, just before we get into the kind of the proper agenda? Anything happening Sunday that you're preparing for? I'm not sure we've talked about it yet.
No, maybe just, a really big game that we're all really looking forward to.
Okay, well, we'll come back to that later on. But picking up on that, a fantastic season for you and the girls. We've got the games in hand, just second place at the moment, but the points are there for us to make it a really successful end of the season. But personally, as I said, I think it's 8 goals and 8 assists. One of the first names on the team sheet. You must be really proud of not only what the team are doing, but how your season's gone so far.
Yeah, definitely. I think, looking at the season as a whole, I've really kicked on from the last couple of years, and I've put in some performances that I'm really proud of. And along with that, there's been some good stats that have come as well. So, I'm really proud. And obviously, everyone in the team has played such an important role. And I'm just really happy I can contribute.
And when we spoke last in October, could you have I guess you would have hoped to be where you kind of are, maybe in top spot, but who knows what will happen after Sunday. But did you foresee this kind of run, how many clean sheets is it? 11 clean sheets, 65 odd goals scored, only 8 conceded, only 1 defeat so far this season. Obviously, Man City in the cup. It's been a pretty memorable season. Hopefully, it gets better, obviously. But could you have envisaged that in October? Was that on the cards?
Well, I think we all know kind of the quality we have in the team. We all know how good we can be when we, play to the best of our ability. We know how hard we train and how much work we put in. So I think, all the ingredients were there to have a really successful journey. But obviously in this league, we all know now that anything can happen. So we have to be working as hard as we can and can't get complacent. We knew what we were capable of, but to be able to put it into practice has been really positive.
Yeah, and we kind of talk about the culture around the club, about running towards adversity. Obviously a really tough time out at Hashtag for lots of different reasons, but great resilience shown by the girls to bounce back with 2 wins, 5 goals scored and 2 clean sheets. You must be really happy about that kind of return to form. Yeah,
of course. I think the Hashtag game naturally was quite difficult. I think we all came away from it probably a bit deflated. But I think it's important to kind of recognise that, the league is still in our hands. We've got everything to play for. And like I said, we've got the quality to absolutely, finish the league really strong and hopefully get what we want at the end of it. So, I think, we had a couple of hours, maybe even a day or so after Hashtag to kind of reflect, feel a bit sorry for ourselves. And then it was very much a case of, getting back on the horse and really trying to kick on and, lift everyone's spirits within the team. I think we're really good at that. We came in on the Tuesday to training and we weren't dwelling on the game. We were all kind of lifting each other up and making sure we were looking ahead to the next game. I think we bounced back really well and we've had 2 positive games off the back of that.
Yeah, spot on. And, being the team near the top of the division, you're always a target for everyone else. There's a target on your back, as it were. And one of the other challenging experiences you and the girls have faced, finally got the win at Gwalia, finally third time lucky played that match. Tom from our Telegram group kind of asks about preparation for that kind of situation. How did you cope with the travelling down and then the disappointment of the game being off, but also pitches, because there's the Gwalia surface. There's some weeks you're in a 4G, and then obviously you've gone from Felixstowe to Portman Road this Sunday. How can you? Is there any way that you can prep for that, or is it just business as usual every week and deal with it on the day? How do you cope?
I think it's a case of dealing with what we've got as best we can. I think also, sometimes a bit of visualization on the Saturday before the game. really kind of thinking about what surface you're going to be playing on the next day and kind of adapting your game to that. That sometimes helps me, but yeah, I think going all the way to Cardiff, it was a bit disappointing, but you've just got to adapt. You can't be too annoyed. At the end of the day, it's not Cardiff's fault. They can't control the weather, so you've just got to adapt to that. And then, I think we were all kind of really eager to go down there and get the 3 points, third time lucky.
Yeah, as someone who likes to take the ball forward and dribble, is that a specific bit of individual prep that you have to do? You kind of talked about the visualization there. Do you have to adapt your game to factor that?
Yeah, I think at this time of year when the pitches aren't the best, sometimes I say the pitch tackles me more than opposition. So, you just have to try and adapt as best you can. Sometimes it might not be on to kind of try and go on a really mazy dribble if the pitch is going to ricochet the ball up. So, yeah, sometimes it's just adapting the game. Sometimes it's just recognising the pitch that I'm going to be on and maybe thinking about how that might change how I play. But, yeah, kind of when I'm in the flow, I just try and do as best as I can on the day.
Yeah. Keep trying those attacking moves and making things happen. And a carpet hopefully awaits you. Weather might not be the best, but carpet awaits you on Sunday, which will hopefully only help us with the style of play and the tactics and the approach that we take. Let's talk about Sunday then. This time last year, do you remember last year? Because you had quite an eventful start to the game. We talked about it before against Chatham. You started with real intensity, didn't you? Looking maybe to do the same, but maybe without the need for a bandage this time, hopefully.
Yeah, I was talking to Pescott training yesterday, and we said if I can get through the game without, physios coming on and my head cracking open, then that would be a success. So yeah, I think I was bang up for it last year. Probably went in for a header that I wouldn't normally go in for just because of the excitement of the day. And ended up with a nasty wound. But yeah, this year I'm sure the intensity will be the same. But like you said, hopefully without the wound to go with it.
Yeah, and we need that intensity to get the crowd on side and to start positive. I think Joe mentioned that in pre-match, but I guess having had that experience last year, it gives you some confidence to know what the game is going to be about, the atmosphere is going to be about. So I guess you can. I was going to say, can you look forward to it a little bit more, knowing what happened last year and the season you've had today? Is it something you're relishing now, just being at home on that stage?
Yeah, I think, every week we're getting huge numbers in at Felixstowe, and last year we obviously played in front of over 10,000. So I think kind of every time you play in front of a big crowd, it settles the nerves a bit more. There's probably more riding on the game this year than there was last year, so that kind of adds a few more nerves, but I think it also adds excitement, and I think it's a game we're all really looking forward to and we're going to be bang up for.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great point about the importance of the game. We did our pre-match kind of preview of it, and Plymouth fighting for their lives. Chatham were in a similar position, though it looked a little bit less likely for them, and ultimately they did get relegated, didn't they? But Plymouth still very much in that survival scrap. They'll be fighting for their lives. I think Joe said that, and that adds an extra dimension to the game, doesn't it?
Yeah, definitely. I think as well, the quality in our league this season has gone up a level compared to last season. No disrespect to Chatham, obviously, but I think Plymouth are probably a more put together outfit than Chatham were at this stage of last season. So I think they're going to be really up for it. Fighting for their lives, like you said. So they'll be desperate to get 3 points, and they've definitely got some players that can hurt us. So we'll have to be at our best, and hopefully it can be a really exciting result.
Is the match day routine? I know it's very different heading down the A12 to Felixstowe compared to rocking up. But do you start at Playford Road and get the bus in? I think this is happening again, is it?
Yeah, hopefully, yeah.
So how much is the pre-match routine? Paul's kind of asked about specific requirements for arrival and pre-match meals. He's asked about pre-match snacks. Should we ask you about your coffee skills, by the way? Last time we heard you were a barista in training. Have you been making the coffees on Sunday morning?
I try and steer clear. I think in the past year I've made far too many coffees to be making extras at football. So some of the girls have tried to get me to, they get me on tea duty sometimes, but that's not my forte. So I leave that to Meg and Joe. They can stick with the teas, and maybe if someone's lucky I might make them a coffee every now and again, but I try to steer clear as much as possible.
It's the day job. But in terms of, can you talk us through a little bit of the kind of timings and kind of any major differences from normal for your pre-match routine?
Yeah, I think we replicate kind of what the men do when we're playing at Portman Road. So we'll start at the training ground, have our pre-match meeting, bit of pre-match food. Chefs are great at the training ground, so we'll have a great spread. And then we'll get the coach back to Portman Road, and that's always really exciting. I remember last time, being with everyone. It's the same as an away day, but it's just a different feeling, kind of driving through the town rather than random country roads trying to end up in Newport or Cardiff or somewhere. But yeah, it's really special feeling, kind of being with everyone on the coach, driving through the town, and then we get to the stadium and the focus goes in, and then we're really just kind of getting ready for the game. But it's nice to arrive with everyone rather than kind of at Felixstowe we all turn up in our cars in drips and drabs. So that's a really special part of it, I think.
Yeah, a bit of camaraderie and all that kind of stuff. Well, do phones have to go off? Or Chris has asked whether you'll be indulging in any of the kind of social media content. Dare I ask about podcasts maybe in advance of getting to the game? You don't have to answer that one, by the way, Lucy.
No, so I think generally we kind of, when we get in the change room, we try and all focus a bit. Phones go away and we have the music playing for everyone. So kind of headphones go away as well. And we're kind of bonding in that time. And then half time as well, no phones. And then at full time, obviously, check what people are saying, have a look at what Blue Monday have tweeted, see if they've said anything. And that's when the phones can come back out.
Perfect answer. Well done. Is Ella still in charge of the playlist, by the way? Last time we spoke, I think there was some definite, in terms of the training centre, there was some iffy playlist stuff going on there. Is that still the case, or is it mellowed a little bit as the season's gone on?
I think the game day playlist tends to be quite good. Okay. There's a good balance, a bit of music for everyone, and it gets us in the right mood, which is good.
Nice one. And kind of finishing off a couple of thoughts, like the numbers. You kind of mentioned Felixstowe. It's great to see the numbers have kind of gone from 500 up towards kind of 1,000 in recent, certainly the last season or so. 10,000, as you mentioned, for Chatham, and hopefully we exceed that number. As a member of the squad, how does it feel to kind of see that growth and to feel that support?
Yes, it is a really special feeling. I think, not just the 10,000 at Portman Road, but every week at Felixstowe, it does make such a difference. We can really feel the crowd. And I think as well, because Felixstowe is obviously smaller, even though there's less people, you notice it just as much. You put in a big tackle and hear the roar from the crowd or score a goal, it adds a bit of motivation. I remember when we played Oxford before Christmas, I think I did a big slide tackle and, the crowd really kind of got behind me and started cheering. And I think that was maybe a pivotal moment in the game. Kind of, I think it might have been 3-2 at that point, and it really just helped us kind of grind out the result. So I think don't underestimate how much the crowd can help. We do notice it on the pitch, and hopefully this Sunday it's going to be bigger than last year, if not the same, and it's going to be really special.
And we need to talk about the end of that Oxford game, because I think someone scored a goal to seal the points, didn't they?
Yeah, that was probably one of my favourite games of the season. 90th minute, I think we were all a bit knackered, but had the opportunity to counter, so I've just put my head down and run. And then, fortunately, Ella's found me and tucked it away to seal the 3 points.
Back across the keeper, wasn't it? Great scenes for that one. And one particular name we think is going to be there. He's announced it as much on socials. Ed, have you had the opportunity to meet him? I know he's met some of the squads pre-season. Have you met Ed yet?
Yeah, I briefly walked past him at the training ground, and lovely guy. Just asked me how I was. I was a bit starstruck. But I think it's so great that, he's supporting us and he wants to come down and watch. And having him there, it's another great experience to experience.
And he shares the shirt sponsorship with both teams, and he's been a great advocate. It's great to see that. Lucy, thank you so much for talking to us ahead of the big one on Sunday. As you kind of mentioned, I'm sure all of you are kind of approaching it as much as possible as business as usual. There's 3 points at stake. It's the same regardless. Plymouth are going to be bang up for it, but fantastic season for you all so far. You in particular, keep doing what you're doing. Is it 5 games to go? I think it is. Yeah. So all the very best for whatever pans out this season. We're all behind you. Already excited to see what you can do on Sunday and beyond. And all the best for it.
Thank you so much.